Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 2 of the YouTube channel here that we are covering math tutoring. Today will be episode 2, where we are going to build off of the foundations of what we did last video, which will be in the description down below. And I just wanted to say before we start, thank you so much, guys, that in just 2 days we reached 100 views. That was my first ever YouTube video I ever made on YouTube ever. And I'm really grateful that I already have 100 views. So I just wanted to say thank you for whoever watched, liked, and subscribed. And thank you so much. And if you really enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. And tell me what you want to see next on the channel. If you have any troubles in any classes, or especially math, I can cover even stuff outside of maths. I can do biology, chemistry, neuroscience, genetics, physics, history, and even English. So I can do a wide variety of things. But I just wanted to first off to say thank you, and I'm really grateful for the success we've already have for just my first video. And we're going to keep going strong. All right, so let's get back to the actual video content. So today we're going to be focusing on multi-step algebra, and we're also going to be including fractions into this. So what we did last time was very simple. It was one variable, or there's only one variable, it's just an x. Then we just added a couple numbers to it to make it more complex, but overall was not too difficult. Today we're going to ramp it up in terms of difficulty. We're going to be doing problems starting like this. Instead of just one variable on one side, there's now going to be an additional variable on both sides. So it's going to be multi-step. So let's start off with our first example. So here we have x plus 3 is equal to the equation of 9 minus x. So if you remember from what we did last video, we're going to do the same exact step, except now, instead of moving the 3 to the right side, sorry, let me label that, we're also going to have to be moving the variable x's around to get rid of them on one side. So we're going to first get rid of the numbers because I think it's easier to see. So we have x plus 3, and we want to get rid of the 3 to the right side of the equation. You could do it on either side. You can move the 9 to the left side or the 3 to the right side, but it's just quite easier to work with more positive integers at first. So we're going to be moving the left side so we're going to be moving the 3 to the right side of the equation. So what we are going to be doing is, in order to get rid of the 3, it's positive, so we have to subtract 3. Make that little wall here. So 3 minus 3 is 0, plus x, because we haven't affected x. And now what you do on the one side, you have to do on the other side. So we're going to be subtracting 3 again. So now 9 minus 3 is just 6, and just the rest of the equation minus x. 0 is nothing, so our new equation now is x equals to 6 minus x. Now, there's only one number. That's one part of the problem done. Now we have to combine the x. We have to combine like terms. So we have to combine the x's together so we can solve for the overall equation of x. Now let me label again. Let's make our wall. So now x here is positive. X here is negative. To make it easier, we're going to move the right side of x to the left side. So in order to get rid of this x, you have to add x. You have to do the opposite of the sign. So if it's minus, you will add. And negative x plus x is just nothing. So we have 6 plus 0 here. And now we have to add an x here. So now x plus x, imagine if it's like 1 plus 1, which is just 2, or 2x. So now we have 2x equals 6. And now from the last video, remember, when you have a situation like this, you just divide it to get rid of it. And to do that, we have to just divide by 2. That equals 1. X equals to 3. So our answer is x equals 3. And we're going to just check that real quick for the original equation. Let x equals 3 on both sides. 3 plus 3 is equal to 9 minus 3. So 6 on this side, 6. We know it's right because they both equal each other. And that is the first part of multi-step algebra. Yeah, pretty simple so far, but let's have a new example where we will ramp out the difficulty a little bit more. Okay. Now let's add some coefficients to our variables. There we go. So now we're just going to do the same exact steps once again. So we're going to start off labeling our left and right side so it's easier to distinguish when solving. So now we see there's a 3x and a 15 on the left side and a 30 and a 2x. So we got to combine all the terms together to just make it where there's 1 and 1 on both sides. That is how we actually solve these equations. So we have a negative 15 here and we have a positive 30. So let's move the 15 to the right side, and how we're going to do that is, since it's negative 15, we have to do the opposite, which is adding 15. This will cancel out, making it 0. And now here, whatever you do on the one side is to the right side, so you have to add also 15 to this side, which equals to 30 plus 15, 45, and the rest of the equation 2x. So now 0 is nothing, 3x equals to 45 plus 2x. And we're almost done. We just have 1 to 2 more steps left. So now the two numbers have been combined, so that's one step. Now we got to combine the variables together. And now we see 2x here is positive. So we're going to have to move it to, sorry for the zoom in. So we're going to have to move it to the left side of the equation, since 45 is already on here. So to do that, you got to do the opposite. So to get rid of a positive 2x, you have to subtract it. 2x minus 2x is just 0, plus the 45 we have here. Whatever you do on one side, you do to the other. So 3x minus 2x is just 1x, and x is equal to 45. We don't have to divide anything here because it's already 1. So the answer is 45, and we can just check it real quick. I always recommend in an exam or assignments to get in the habit of checking answers, because I just think it's important. I wouldn't do this in the beginning of a problem. Like after you solve it, I would do it at the end when you have time to go back and check. 45 times 3 is just 135 minus 15. 45 times 2 is just 90. This equals 120, and this equals 120, so we know it's right. And we know 45 is the correct answer to this equation. And that's how you do it. That is just multi-step algebra. And now we're going to do one final problem. This one's going to be a little tougher. This will involve more negative numbers, so I would recommend that you have a bit of a knowledge of how to add and subtract negative and positive numbers. But if you know how to do it, then this problem should not be too overly difficult. Let me write that better. Sorry, that should be a 4. Sorry for my bad handwriting. I've always had bad handwriting. Left, right side. Well. All right, so let's assess what we have. So we have negative x minus 20 equals 30 plus 4x. I've never put the negative out front like this yet, so it's going to be a bit of a new concept. So we're going to do this. Now, how to do this? Let's assess what we have. So let's move one of the terms to the right side. Since I always move the number to the right side, let's switch it up. Now we're gonna move this 30 to the left side of the equation, just to switch it up a little, just so some variety of how you can just arrive at the same answer by doing different methods. So to get rid of this 30, it's positive, right? So we have to subtract 30 from here. 30 minus 30 is just a simple 0 plus the 4x that we haven't touched yet. So here we have to subtract 30. Now, when you do it like this, it's important to recognize that it's always in this format, like this. Negative 20 plus negative 30. So I would write it out like this if you have, and I just want to bear, so you don't get confused. All of these questions, sorry about that, are like this. Negative 15 plus 15. You're always starting out with this. Even though here it's 3 minus 3, what we can see from here is that we can just, it's more written in this type of format. And then this changes, and that's 0. It's like that. So it's always a plus, and then the parentheses of the sign, what's there. So here it's negative 20 plus negative 30, or negative 20 minus 30, which is just negative 50. And then we have the minus x here. Don't forget the sign, that's very important. So now 0, let's simplify a little. Yeah, you can either look at it as negative 20 minus 30, or if you have a little bit of problem, you can write it out in this type of format. It just doesn't matter, it's just whatever you're comfortable with. But if you want to be able to have max efficiency and go faster, I would just try to do it in your head. But if you're just a beginner, you can write it out like that. So now, okay, 50 is on this side. We're done with that. Now we have to combine the like terms of the variables of x's. So now we see left, right, that there's a negative x here, negative 50, and the 4x on this side. So we're going to move the variable to the right side of the equation. So to do this, we have negative x. To combat this, we have to do its reciprocal, which is just positive x, the opposite. It's the same as what we've been doing. So now, or it's like negative 1 plus 1 is 0. In this case, negative x plus x, just 0. Then we have the negative 50 here, equal. Now we got whatever you do on one side, you do the other, so we have to add x here. So 4x plus x, just 5x. Now let's rewrite it. Negative 50 is equal to 5x, because 0 is nothing here. So now to finish this step, we just have to subtract 5 because we just wanted to get it by 1, and you just divide it by itself. 5 divided by 5. What you do on one side, you do the other, so you have to also divide this side by 5. X is equal to negative 10. That is the answer. And now, let me get rid of this. Let's check the answer, just for good measure, because it's always a good habit to check your answers. Sometimes you'll be working too fast and things can happen and you will just totally forget that, oh, I might have messed up. And this type of problem is pretty easy to mess up because you can mess up a sign and you could just, the whole problem can go wrong. So we have negative x, we'll make that negative 10. So we'll put in parentheses, negative 10 minus 20 equals 30 plus 4 times negative 10, because that's what the x is. And then we know a negative and times a negative is positive, so this is going to be normal 10 minus 20 equals 30. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times negative 10 is going to be negative 40. Negative 10 is equal to negative 10. That's how you know we got the right answer. All right, now we're going to move on to the next step. So we covered multi-step algebra right here with variable and numbers on both sides of the equation. Now we're going to introduce fractions into the mix, which is going to be exciting. Fractions are definitely a bit harder, but they're not too hard. So let's start. So I'll create a problem. I'll create a very simple one at the first one because I think it's important to just show the fundamentals. We'll just call this 1. Yeah, we'll just keep it simple like last video. So now it's going to be the same exact steps. I know it looks a little scary. I don't think it is, but just to appeal, to make it a little more comfortable for you to approach. So now we're going to do the same steps. So we have x here with 1/2. That's the variable, and then we have the two numbers. So like always, we're going to separate them. We're going to move 1/2 to the right side of the equation so we can get x by itself. To do this, we have a positive 1/2. So to combat this, we're going to subtract it by 1/2, just by itself. That is now 0 plus what the variable, 1/2 x, equal to what you do on one side, subtract 1/2. 1 minus 1/2 is 1/2, but I will do the full fraction if you guys need a reminder. So we can change 1 to 2 over 2. So we have like denominators. 2 minus 1, 1. Denominator is the same, 2. So now we have 1/2 x equals 1/2. Now, this is the step. That's a bit different. Instead of, you can divide this by 1/2, but it looks some more complex. So to make it easier, instead of dividing by a half, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. if you guys, a reciprocal is the opposite of something. So the opposite of 1/2 or its reciprocal would be 2 over 1. Basically, we just flip the two numbers. And I'll show you in action. So here, we're going to do 1 over 2 times 2 over 1 x right here. And then what you do to one side, you have to do the other. 1/2 times 2 over 1. So we can see they cross out. X equals, cross out. X is just 1. So how to do this? Like example, if we had 3/4 x equals 1/2. You're just going to flip the numerator and denominator. So now, because that's how you get rid of it. So to get rid of it, we just flip. So now 4 is on the top and 3 is on the bottom. We're just going to multiply by 3 over 4. And you do the same to this. 4 over 3. So now the answer is just 8. Sorry. Is just 4 over 6. Or 2/3 if you simplify it down. That's just how you do it with fractions. And now we're going to take it one step further. This is going to be the last example. We're going to do it with both variables on the sides. So to just add on what we did here. So 1/2 plus 3/5 x is equal to negative 5/8 plus 1/10 x. So I tried to make this a little harder, so it will just combine everything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of like terms. We're going to combine like terms. We're going to make everything equal to each other. So we're going to start with the numbers first because I like starting out, but you can start off with the x's first if that's what's comfortable for you. But for right now, I think it's easier to start with numbers. So we have 1/2 and then we have negative 5/8. I think for right now, it would be easier to move the 5/8 to this side. So that's what we're going to do. So to get rid of negative 5/8, you add it by itself. 5/8, negative 5/8 plus 5/8 is just 0. 0 plus 1/10 of x. And now we have to add 5/8 here. And now we see 1/2 and 5/8. You can't just directly add them. So we have to change 1/2 to have the denominator of 8. To do this, you multiply both sides multiply the numerator and denominator by 4. So here it's going to be, I don't know why I keep zooming in. So 4 over 8 plus 5 over 8, that is 9/8. Let me move this to, over here. So now what we have is 9/8 plus 3/5 x equals, since 0 is nothing, 1/10 x. So there we did it. We combined the two fractions without a variable together. That step is now done. Now we just have to combine the x's. Now it's the same thing again. So we're going to move the x from the left to the right. And to do this, we have to minus 3/5, because that's how you do it. 3/5 minus 3/5 is just 0 plus the 9/8. And now we have to subtract here 3/5 x as well. Now we see that the variables are not the same. Again, like so, to change 3/5 into 1/10, we have to multiply numerator and denominator by 3/5 by 2. So now we have 1/10 x minus 6/10 x. For doing this, I would ignore the x's for now and just pretend it's 1/10 minus 6/10. 1 minus 6 is negative 5. Numerators are the same, you just have 10. Which you can simplify this to 1/2. And then you add back the x at the end. It's just easier to look at. So now you have 9/8, 0 is nothing, to negative 1/2 x. Now we're going to do the same thing. The opposite of negative 1/2 is negative 2 over 1 because we just put this there and this there. We just flip the denominator and numerator. We just flip the fraction. Easier to say it. So we do this. 2, 2 cancel out. 1, 1 cancel out. The negatives also cancel out. So now we have x is equal to 9/8 times negative 2 over 1 because we have to do it to the other side. And it's crucial that you remember this negative that we multiplied or else you will get the answer wrong. 9, so we can just simplify a little here. 1, 4. 9 times negative 1, negative 9. 4 times 1, 4. So x, all in all, is equal to negative 9 over 4. Yeah, let's check the answer. It might be a bit complicated, but we will do it. So 1/2 plus 3/5 x. So we substitute that, multiply by negative 9/4. That's our answer. Negative 5 over 8 plus 1/10 times negative 9/4, because that's where the x's were. So let's simplify this further. 3 times negative 9. Sorry, I changed the sign. So the sign will change to minus 27 over 20 equals negative 5/8 minus 9 over 40, because the negatives will change these signs. Okay, so let's convert the fractions. So to convert 1/2 to 20, we have to multiply the fraction by 10. So 10 over 20, like this. And here, we wanted to get to 40, so we got to multiply by 5. So minus 27/20 equals negative 25/40 minus 9/40. And this will equal to negative 17 over 20 equals to negative 34 over 40. Now, at first you're thinking these are not equal, but if we just multiply this by 2 over 2, this will be negative 34 over 40, negative 34 over 40. Or you can reduce this down, divided by 2. So it's the same either way. So our answer was negative 9 over 4. Yeah, that's about it for today's last video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please comment, like, and subscribe to support the channel. And please comment down below if you are still confused by what I said. I can explain it in the comments further or address it in the future video that I'll be planning. I am attempting to upload 2 videos a week, maybe even more. I am doing some classes right now, so I am a bit busy, but there should be a period where I can upload maybe even just 4 to 5, just do a video a day. But for right now, we're going to stick with the 2 videos a week. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.